Hello, everybody. Can you guess what I am? It's not that hard to figure out, is it? Hey, you're not calling me a pig because of what I eat, are you? You're not calling me a pig because I'm a chubby girl, are you? Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I don't know. I think I got this one. This little. It come with the ears, the snout, the tie. Does it have a tail? Yeah, it come with a pink tail. It's not curly though. And then the puppy dog one I had on. All of that came together. I don't know. I don't know if I got them from the Dollar Tree. I think they're so cute. I think I got them because I thought they would be good for me to dress up when I read certain stories, to the kids. But yeah, we enjoy doing things like that around here. But I'm wanting to say this May, I've got, of course, a couple of, just headbands, but not with the other pieces to go with it. I've got like a bumblebee one, maybe, I don't know, I've got several different ones. But guess what, you guys? It is Pickle Week, and Pickle Week is brought to us by Tammy from Tater Tots Nursery. And her co-host that she picked this month it's super exciting. It's Bonnie from from Pretty Little Poppets. And Bonnie came up with a tag. It is a this or that, I think. Let me see. Or no, it's a would you rather tag. And so I've got the questions here, and I've got my little pickle here. He's a stinker, you guys. See? Psst, watch out. Psst. Have y'all seen the video? It's a short video on, I'm going to hold him like this for a minute. That's cute. That's so cute. I'm going to take a picture. It's got a little boy standing on the front porch like a little 3 or 4, maybe like a 3-year-old. And he's like, he hollers at somebody, look what I got. I got one of those stinky cats. And it's a skunk. Somebody's like, oh my gosh, it's a skunk. It's so cute. I don't know if that's AI or not, but I do know that my stepmom, she had baby skunks, and they had the scent glands removed. She said they still have a light skunk smell to them, even after you have their glands removed. She said, but they're just like cats. That's, they're just like cats. Psst, watch out. I'm going to be doing that the whole video. Psst, watch out. Okay, so I'm trying to decide, you guys, if I should put him in. I've got another costume. And I'm trying to decide if I should, he's been in this for a while, if I should change him out into this pea pod. That's super cute. Or if I should just leave him in the skunk. I don't know. I thought about even taking him with me trick-or-treating. I just don't know if I will or not. But I don't have any other... I could put Gemma, which is my Maddie Sculpt, in this. But she's about the only other one, unless I was to put the Elliot. And I think it would be too big on him, too. I think Gemma's about it, really. Junebug, I do have Junebug, and I could put Junebug in it. She's already wearing her ladybug costume over there. But anyway, I think I'm just going to leave him in the skunk costume. I just love it so much. Yeah, and I haven't decided who I'm taking with us Friday. My mom's church does the trunk or treat Friday. And then we have a trunk or treat at our school on Wednesday I will be going to. Which I'm really excited. Tookie, I don't want to tell y'all, but Tookie and her daddy are doing a super cute costume idea, so I will video it or take pictures. It's definitely coming to YouTube. And their whole family their mom is so creative, and she worked on their costumes, did their costumes for them this year. And it's just, she's got some really good ideas, and she's so talented too. She's such a talented person. She's very, she's just even how she decorates. She's just one of them people that has just got that creative mind that can decorate pretty and very crafty. Well, anyway, let's get to this tag for Pickle Week. And I'm thinking. That's off of Not at the Museum. Okay, so I was trying to decide if I wanted to add any more tags into this, and I think I'm going to add also for Best Friends Club this week, and that's Lori at Reborn Huggles. It was dress up in your Halloween attire. So I'm going to include Lori from Reborn Huggles, and I could even include Pika Week, but I think that I'll do a video with Pika. I think I'll end up doing a video with her. So, can y'all see this little baby? You really can't, can you? No, you can't see him like that. Okay, so let me turn him back around for a minute. Cover those. Look at those fat little thighs. You're so cute. There he is. So cute. Okay, so number one question. Would you rather go to a haunted house or a corn maze? Definitely a corn maze. You guys, I was raised in the country, and I'm telling you, it's funny, when my husband started dating me, his nephew, Brian didn't even have his driver's license, and I say dating, his mom would drive him to my house, and he would stay the day with me at my house and my parents, and then she would come and pick him up in the evening. And so his, our nephew now, I was 15, and so Brian, the nephew at the time was just 3 years old, and he would ride with us out there, and he always called me the boondock girl because I lived in the boondocks. It would take 30 minutes to get to our house from town, and then my nearest neighbor growing up was 5 miles away. I think it was 5 miles. Might have been 2.5 to 5 miles away. So my house, there was cornfields on 3 sides of my house. We grew up playing in those cornfields. We were children of the corn, for real, children of the corn. But I would definitely love a corn maze. I just don't know. I said in one of my videos that I don't have much of a startle reflex anymore. I mean, it takes a lot to get me to jump. But because it's been so long since I've been in a real haunted house, I would be afraid to go into one that I would pee myself because of how uncensored I am now. If you watch that stuff, or and I don't really watch scary movies anymore either. I think a lot of them seem really stupid to me, especially the vampire movies and the werewolf movies. To me, they look fake. They don't seem real to me. The scary movie for me that I call scary movie is like serial killer movies. To me, those are terrifying. Those are scary movies, But anyway, so definitely a corn maze. Okay, number 2 is, let me read my handwriting here. Would you rather bob for apples or hayride? Definitely a hayride. Something about bobbing for apples puts fear into me. Like, what if I drown? And I don't know why. I guess I always thought, what if somebody holds my head under while I'm trying to bob for apples? And then I don't have sharp teeth. I would also be afraid that I've never bobbed for apples. I would be afraid that I wouldn't be able to get the apple. I went to a trunk or treat several years, it's been quite a few years, because Maddie, who is now 23 maybe, my son Matt, he was a freshman, I guess. Yeah. And instead of bobbing for apples, they had this, they made like a clothesline, and then they had apples that dangled from strings, and you had to try to bite it from the air, you know, to bite the apple. And then, of course, you got your apple that you were working on. You know, can you think about all the people that were putting together that were bobbing for apples and their mouth open and spit all in that water, and then the next person came along? Of course, we don't think about that when we're kids, you know. No, we don't think about that at all. Kids are nasty. You guys, I'm in childcare. Kids are nasty. We have to teach them. They don't come knowing that you cover, you know, and growing up, you know, people would say, I was raised, cover your mouth with your hand. No. Cover with your arm. If you cover with your hand, you're sneezing boogers and stuff in your hand. And how many times, well, now we have sanitizer, but we didn't have sanitizer growing up, you know. So then what do you do with that hand if you can't go wash it, you know? And then the next person, you hold your friend's hand, you grab a pencil, you share books around, you know, come on. Okay, just think about it. Kids are nasty. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you that my father-in-law, when my kids, when they were toddlers and their nose would run, my father-in-law would tell them, just wipe it on your arm, you know. No kidding. I mean, they'd have snot up their arms, you know, snot smeared across their face. And then in the wintertime, their face would even get chapped, you know, from having snot smeared across their face. Kids are nasty. I love kids. I love children. And it's up to us to teach them to take the nasty away, you know, because they're not born knowing. We have to teach them. But my father-in-law thought, you know, stuff like that was just hilarious, you know, to teach them that. Ugh. Okay, so definitely Bob for Apples or Hayride. Definitely Hayride. I just, look, my nostrils are crooked, you guys. Speaking of nasty, I don't know. Maybe I'm too tired for this video today, you guys. Oh, goodness. Okay, so Hayride for me. Hayrides to me were fun back in the day, and they're still fun. And not many people do hayrides anymore, unfortunately. Okay, so number 3, Halloween craft or bake. And can I do both? Because that would be really fun to do a Halloween craft, maybe while you bake some Halloween cookies, you know. That would be fun. Okay, I'm going to pick both. I'm going to cheat and pick both. Would you rather trick or treat or pass out candy? You guys, I don't know. Hi, Bonnie. Bonnie's messaging me. So I have been trick-or-treating since I was a child. Every year I've been trick-or-treating as a child, you know. And then, you know, I was in the 12th grade. I graduated. I mean, you know, my senior year, I trick-or-treated, graduated, got married 3 months after graduation. So that was May, so June, July. So I got married. I got married in August, September, October. So I'm guessing I didn't trick-or-treat. That's the only year I have not trick-or-treated, you guys, is right after I got married, because there was nobody to you know. I was grown. I was married. So, you know, I guess I don't know. I don't even remember. Maybe I was just so devastated to not be able to trick-or-treat. I blocked that memory. Oh, but, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I've been trick-or-treating every year since I was little, and except that one year. And because then the very following year, my oldest child was born, and we took her trick-or-treating. She was in that little stroller, but we went trick-or-treating, you know. And I love it. I love the trick-or-treating part. However, I've never got to hand out candy. So I'm hoping, you know, that once Aurora has said that she's done trick-or-treating, well, but I've already got grandbabies now. My grandbabies are going to need somebody to go trick-or-treat with them. I don't know. You know, if I'm not trick-or-treating with grandbabies, then I would absolutely love to hand out Halloween candy. My mom does the trunk-or-treats at the church, and I'm guessing she likes it because she's been doing it for several years now. And I think this year she's dressing up as the Holy Ghost, and she's wearing a sheet that's got holes all in it for Holy Ghost. I thought that was super cute. I can't remember what she was last year. I think she dressed up as an angel last year, but I don't remember what the theme was to her car. Okay, so on to the next one. Boy, leave it to me to take a 8 question and turn it into like an hour-long video. I'm goofy this evening. So would I rather trick or treat or pass out candy? I'm hoping. Okay, so I'm just gonna say right now, trick or treating because I'm trying to enjoy this time that I have with Aurora and Mason. All of a sudden, you guys, Mason all of a sudden has decided to. Hey, he could wear this. He could wear the puppy dog. I doubt he'll want to. All of a sudden, okay, he's 14 now, guys, and he's not showed any interest in dressing up. And I've told him, look, we're not going to last you we've got to put, it takes a while to put a costume together. So if you're wanting to trick or treat, we need to come up with something. And he didn't. So I just assumed that he wasn't going to be wanting to trick or treat. And then all of a sudden, over the weekend, he's like, yeah, I want to trick or treat, Mom. He could either be a pig or a dog. I'll tell him, he'd probably go for he'd probably do the dog. That's cute. But okay, so, or he did mention dressing up as his dad, wearing his dad's work shirt. Nobody would know, though, what he was. I mean, he'd have to tell him, I'm dressed up as my dad. Okay, so on to the next one. Would I rather see a scary movie or a kid Halloween movie? I'm going to say a kid Halloween movie. Because I'm the first one in the house to introduce, like, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Mackenzie, she comes to me before Halloween, before Friday. This girl's going to know who Charlie Brown is because we've already been watching Charlie Brown. We watch it every day at nap time when she's laying down, right before, while she's, winding down and resting. I put something on. And you can go onto YouTube, and there's one that's like 13 different little clip videos, and it's the Great Pumpkin and Charlie Brown, and it's like 25 minutes long, and then by the time that's over, she's ready to go to sleep. So she has a little bit of downtime, and we've been watching it already for several weeks now. So she knows who Charlie Brown is, and Hocus Pocus, and sometime this week, before Friday, we've got to squeeze in Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus 2. So, I'm thinking it's going to have to be tomorrow on one of those, because Wednesday we have a trunk or treat, and Thursday we have a game, and then Friday. So, we may extend bedtimes this week, just so we can get in those movies. Yeah. So, that may be a way to get them to watch the movies with me. Aurora will be down for it. She'll be like, yeah, I can stay up late and watch Halloween Town. And, and then Mason had even asked the other day about watching the second Hocus Pocus. So, he'd be down for it too. But even though today he actually went to bed early, he's like, I'm going to bed. He fixed him something to eat for dinner, and he went to bed. Tonight was kind of like fend for yourself. My daughter calls it something. FFYS or something like fend for yourself, Of course, Aurora, she's young, so we fend for her. But anyway, he fixed him something, and he went to bed. He was tired today. Okay, so on to... I pick the kid Halloween movie because if I'm going to watch a Halloween scary movie, it would be Jeepers Creepers, and I've just not even had a chance to watch it, and I'm okay with not having a chance to watch it as long as I get these other movies watched. Okay, number 6. Would I rather paint a pumpkin or carve a pumpkin? And I say carve a pumpkin. I would rather carve a pumpkin because I do it every year. Okay, and I'm going to have to do 2 this year, and I'm going to have to squeeze that in at some point, and I don't know when I'm going to do that. Because Aurora's going to want to carve a pumpkin, and I need to carve a pumpkin with Mackenzie. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to figure that one out. Number 7 is, would you rather have a monster costume or a cute costume? Cute costume, by far. We don't do anything scary over here. We don't do scary costumes. I know, party pooper, boo, but we don't do scary. I did in high school. I didn't, when I lived at home, we did scary. And I say scary, I mean, I think I was a witch one time, and another time I would use the same black dress every year, and I painted like blood coming down. I think I was a vampire of some sort, but anyway, we don't do scary now. Okay, let's see. And number 8, your favorite Halloween candy. I think you guys all know. Dun, 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 candy corn. Yes, I do like caramel apples, you guys, but caramel apples can be year-round. You can't get candy corn year-round that I know of. I mean, I don't know, maybe on Amazon you could. You can get anything on Amazon these days, you know what I mean? What was this for? So, I was going to do a scary story. My tag that I had, I talked about a spooky story. Okay, so if you don't want to listen to a spooky story, something that I have a supernatural story, I will, ask you to please just go ahead and turn this video off. Because, I know some people don't like to hear these kind of stories. So I'm just going to say you can go ahead and turn your video off now. But this is a supernatural story. And whenever I was younger, the house I grew up in, well, I say that I grew up in from the 6th grade until 2 years after I'd left home, that was home. It was already 100 years old whenever we lived there. It just had been, updated, but still an old farmhouse. And in the backyard, I'm telling you, like maybe 30, 40 feet from the back door were 2 graves. And they were graves of pilgrims who, they traveled. And, then whenever you were traveling and you lost a loved one, you buried them where you were at as you were traveling. And this was a pilgrim woman who was pregnant, and during childbirth, both her and the baby died. And so there was 2 graves there in the backyard. Whether that had anything to do with it, I have no idea. And never once did I ever feel a woman, or, I did feel like what seemed to be a male presence. So let me tell you, set the scene for you. It was during the summertime, and I was home. And so back when I was young, my parents would get paid once a month. And my mom had called home, and she's like, hey, if you're going to be going to the store with me when I get home, you need to be ready. And because she told me, because seriously, it would take me 3 to 4 hours. I don't know why, but it would take me 3 to 4 hours. Nope, Bo, out. Nuh-uh, out, sir. Sorry, I don't allow Bo in here. Sometimes he gets happy and he'll hack that leg, and so he's not allowed in the nursery. And so, Mom had called and had told me, you better start getting ready. You need to be ready by the time I get home. So I had started getting ready, and I was sitting. Mine and Mom's makeup table was actually in our dining room. We had a big dining room, and that's also where I fixed my hair. And I was sitting at that, and I was fixing my hair. My hair's always been like this. But I would get it permed back in the day to be like this. My hair held curl very easily. It has always had lots and lots of body. And anyway, so I was fixing my hair, and I had my pick, and, this is, big hair error. And the phone rang, and the phone, this house had a phone, the phone booth that was in the wall. And of course, that's where the phone sat. It wasn't a cordless phone. You had to get up and go answer it. It had the stretchy cord on it, It was red, So I got up and I went to answer the phone, picked it up, and then turned back around to where my my table, dressing table, makeup table was at. And in the middle of the room was my hair pick floating at eye level. And as soon as I made eye contact with it, it dropped to the floor. that scared the daylights out of me. That scared the daylights out of me. It was my mom on the phone, and she had called to tell me that she was on her way home. So that was my last warning. I'm on my way home. You better be ready. And I was like, hurry up and get home, mom. And she, work, everything was like, 30 minutes away from us. And so, yeah, that was a long 30 minutes before mom got home. Another time in this same house, it was summertime. We had been outside. We had done our gardening. Every evening we'd all go out, and our garden was across the street, right? And the landlord had given us a little bit of area in his cornfield just at the beginning for us to plant a garden. And so we would have to get our 5-gallon buckets and make so many trips across the road back and forth, because we didn't have a water hose that was long enough to reach to where this garden area was. And it was a lot of work. It was a good 2 hour every evening, when you had to water in the August season, when it's hot, and you have to water daily. And we were taking a break from watering, and Dad asked me if I would go in and make him a glass of tea. And so I had his glass, and I went in. And this was around the time, I'm going to say I must have been a junior, because Dad had installed an AC unit, not a window unit, but he had fixed it where, ran the hose under the house in this old house, and had, hooked the AC to the floor, like you would a mobile home. But we did not cool the kitchen. So we had curtains or sheets, that hung and blocked the kitchen off, so it wasn't cooled. And there was 2 doorways, and one of the doorways went into my brother's room, and the other doorway went into the dining room. And I had gone in, and I'd make my dad some tea, and I set his cup down on the counter, and I was cracking the ice out of the ice trays, and I was putting it into my dad's cup. And I heard some key jingling sound, and I turned around to look, and going on the other side of the curtain, I saw the shadow of I thought it was my dad, walk by, and I heard the keys jingling, and I said, "Daddy, what are you doing? I've got your teacup." And I didn't hear nothing, and I said, "Dad," and I still didn't hear nothing, and then I heard some laughing outside, right outside where at the counter I was at. There was a window, and I looked up, and as I looked up, my dad, my mom, and my brother, the only other people in the house, were right there. So who was that spooky that I thought was my dad walk by, and what was the jingling of the keys? So yes, I got goosebumps just thinking about that, reliving that, moment. That was scary. So there was a lot of, I never felt like I was in harm's way. And I do want to say, yes, I do believe in spirits. And I believe when we are young, our brains are more open to seeing these things. But as we're told, it's your imagination as you're growing up. And that was my mom, and she believed in stuff like that too. But it scared her. And so her way of dealing with it is she would tell us, it's your imagination. It's your imagination. Because it was almost like she was telling herself, it's just her imagination, And so I think then once those things are put on us as children, that it's your imagination. No, you really did not see anything. It's just this, it's just that. And I did it with my older 4, up until a certain time, I was programming their brain to block that stuff as well. That no, you're really not hearing nothing. No, you're really not seeing nothing. No, you're really not, no. But when, in my daughter, when she was probably in junior high, the house that we had bought, it was a 5-bedroom house, and it was an older house too. And the cat, her cat would always act so strange. I was listening to somebody, was it Janice? Was it Janice that was telling a supernatural story about how the cat was making noises and wouldn't go into a certain room in the house? Was it Janice? I've heard several different people talking about their supernatural experiences. Um, you know, Animals are super sensitive. They're hypersensitive to these things that we have programmed ourselves to not see in the world, or that aren't just don't see. And my oldest daughter, it was her cat. He would get like that, and he would hiss, and you would watch him, and he would just be following something around the room, and then he would start hissing, you know. And then my daughter was saying, she was hearing noises, and the cat was following the sound, and I would just tell her, it's just squirrels in the attic. It's just, we've got squirrels in the attic. That's what you're hearing, and it would make excuses. But then there would be other parts, where the cat just would not even go into that room, Now, in situations like that, if that was my mom's house that she lives in now, we've always, my mom's dog, when she was younger, like she wouldn't walk down the hall. You'd have to go get her and carry her down the hall, because there's this one room and she did not want to go past it, Once we got to a point to where, yes, I do believe that there are evil things that are here on this planet, that walk amongst us, we do, we can take authority if given permission. It's my mom's house. Mom gave permission for Brian to anoint it, and so Brian did the anointing and blessing over her home, with her permission, and then after that, my mom just would always play very low in her room Christian music, like a Christian radio station all the time. She just kept that going, and that, whatever, that seemed to help. That just seemed to keep any, whatever it was, at bay. But then there's been times that my husband's had to go back and re-anoint and re-bless and, pray over the four corners of the property, and things like that as well. And so, yes, I do believe in those things. And so those are my two, and I know that there's plenty more, because I was more in tune, when I was younger than I am, as I got older. And then I was going to tell y'all, one of the questions on my Halloween tag was, have you ever visited a haunted location? And what I mean is, like, there's lots of, if you can look up like the most haunted places in your area, and on Google, or, back when I was a kid, it was books, and I had a book, and it was the most haunted places in Texas. And I told a little bit about it. I was with a group of friends late at night. It was around probably 11-ish at night, and we went to what was known as the most haunted church in Texas. And of course, it's way out in a pasture somewhere. We probably shouldn't have been there, but we were there anyway, and we went into this place, and the back door to this church was a big, heavy wood door. I mean, one that it took two people to push it open. It was how they made doors back then, and it was super heavy. And we went out the back door after we walked around a little bit. The organ player, it was one of those that had a spiral staircase where the organ player sat up top and played music for the church, and it was just a little bitty area for the organ player. It was even, I don't know, it just felt eerie. And then the graveyard, the back, you walked out the back of the church, and then there was an older graveyard that was there. And as we're walking along, all of a sudden, I'm not kidding you guys, that big wooden heavy door that it took two of us to push open and go out slammed shut. And it was just us out in the country. I mean, there was no houses around. There was about 6 of us. It was 2 carloads, and you had to cross over. We had to climb the gate to get on. So it was probably private property as well. I don't know. I mean, there wasn't a private property sign. I don't know if it was just, I don't know who owned it, to be honest. It was just a church in that was the most haunted church in Texas at that point. And it didn't take us no time to get, it had a long driveway to it, but it didn't take us near as long to get back down that driveway and over that gate and in our vehicles, and we were gone. And I can't even tell you what happened there. And I don't know that, I'm not going to think too hard into that. I just shouldn't have been there. It was late at night. I shouldn't have been out there. These days, you don't go on any property where the gate is shut or you get shot. Private property is private property. And I'm sure it was private, but I don't know whose property it was at that point in time. It was, a church. So I don't know if it was public to the community. I don't know. But anyway, you guys, here it is, Vlogtober day. I have no idea. I will put it in the description. I'm thinking maybe it's the 27th today. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'm going to have to, I think tomorrow we'll do the pumpkin carving. I'll have maybe Laurel and a couple of the babies that are going to help do the pumpkin, clean out the pumpkin with Mackenzie tomorrow. So we will be doing that tomorrow. And I will do a video with it. So you guys, take care. I hope you have a great evening. I've got to get this video uploaded. And this little pumpkin's just slept and slept and slept. So, thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Bonnie, for coming up with, thank you, Tammy, for coming up with Pickle Week. Thank you, Bonnie, for coming up with this tag. Thank you both for doing it together. And let's see. And also, thank you, Lori, for Best Friends Club this week, which is dress up your babies or fall colors. This is fun. I just love this time of year. I really do. I love this time of year. I love being able to dress up and be silly and be goofy, and I can't wait to take this pig nose off because it is digging into my skin. And it's not even tight. I don't know, did y'all watch the video where I was dressed up as a dog and Aurora, and she just kept reaching over and Rainbow thought it was funny because Aurora kept messing, kept squeezing on my nose and everything. I tell y'all, in that video, I was a little bit worried because she was a little wired that day. And I was so afraid that she was going to pull it, and release it, and it was going to pop my face during the video. And I was just kind of, watching her, trying to read those pretty little eyes of hers as to what, kind of mischief she might be thinking about doing. Because, kids are kids. Let's see what happens if I pull that nose and it pops on Mom's face. Is it going to hurt? Is it not? Is it going to be funny? Would have been funny to her, would not have me. I would have been crying, my eyes watering. But anyway, you guys, thank you for watching. Oh, and I wanted to show y'all my cute little pumpkin shirt. This is the first time I've worn it, and oh, my son's calling. And I don't have long to wear it, and it's really big on me because it's one from last year, and I was going to wear it with leggings. It's just not been cool enough to wear it with leggings yet. But isn't it super cute? And then the sleeves are really long. It's one of those with real long sleeves. I do plan on dressing up, you guys. I do plan on dressing up, you know what, in my 80s, like I normally do, for Halloween night. So that's how y'all will see me. I think I've got black leggings to wear under the pink tutu this year. We'll see if I do it. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for spending time with me. If you're here already to the end, thank you. I thank you so much. And until next time, you guys, don't forget to go in and give me a like. And if you're new here, subscribe. And as Rainbow says, subscribe. I don't even know if I said that right or not, but you get the gist. Okay, you guys, bye. God bless.